Welcome back to the Raptors Wrap-Up podcast. I'm your host Adam Lingam with another video about the Raptors upcoming defending their championship crown season. Now we're talking about the expectations for the Toronto Raptors this season, and I gotta say they're not looking the greatest. As you know, the Raptors did lose Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green, and a few other pieces, but the Raptors did gain a couple other pieces in Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, who the Raptors were thinking of drafting back in his day when he got drafted. So the Raptors were thinking of getting him a power forward that's a little agile and able to play in the modern NBA. And then you have Stanley Johnson, a 6'8" type power forward slash small forward, similar to OG, who could spread the floor with his three-point shooting, but never panned out. He was a lottery pick by the Detroit Pistons. Just doesn't make the right plays and just was inconsistent offensively and defensively. And he was let go. But the Raptors did pick him up. He has potential to be a good player. Just got to see if he can put it together. And the Raptors just filled in some holes here and there. And with Matt Thomas and Terrence Davis. Matt Thomas, three-point specialist. That's his job. And then Terrence Davis, a kind of mix of Norman Powell, you could say. A little better defender, lengthier, but Norman Powell is a little better offensively. But Terrence Davis and Norman Powell, I believe, have the same about three-point stroke, so you could just pick and choose whichever one you want. And that might be a problem for Norman Powell because Norman Powell should be taking the leap. And if you're paying $10 million for a guy that could be paid the same amount that Terrence Davis is being paid, why would you pay Norman Powell that money? To be honest, it's going to be interesting what happens with the lineups this year. Does Norman Powell start in the starting lineup, or does Van Vliet start and then Norman Powell runs the second unit, or does Van Vliet still run the second unit but does start and just mixing up the lineups and have Van Vliet play more minutes? It's up to Nick Nurse to deal with how he's going to play these guys, but it's going to be very interesting because now it's going to be a tale of how good is Nick Nurse? Can he really coach? Because last year he had Kawhi Leonard, and Kawhi makes everybody look good, so we'll see what happens there. But my expectations for the Toronto Raptors next year is a third or fourth seed. Honestly, Philadelphia is the best team in the East, and barring injury, they should be the favorites to win the East. Milwaukee, they lost Malcolm Brogdon, which I thought was a huge loss, and honestly, without Malcolm Brogdon, their point guard skills with only Eric Bledsoe is going to be very weak. They're going to need another option out there. And other than Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe, and Giannis, no one else can create. It's going to be interesting to see what Budenholzer does this season with this lineup. I think they take a step back because Malcolm Brogdon is a stud. He's great defensively, unselfish, takes high percentage shots. He was a 50-40-90 guy, so you can't find those kind of guys just off the free agency of trades. So it's going to be very interesting what they do. Now, for the upcoming season, the Raptors have a chance to make it back to the NBA Finals if these things all fall through. First off, Raptors, Kawhi Leonard missing. So who's got to take that role? Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam has to take the leap to be a number one option, and he has got to score at least 25 or 23 points with about 10 rebounds per game. And then Kyle Lowry has to be a consistent number two scorer, about 20 points and about like 6-7 assists per game. Van Vliet's got to be right there around 18-17 points per game with about 5 assists. It's either Van Vliet or Norman Powell to take the lead, and I believe in Van Vliet more. So he'll be around 70 points. Norman Powell, I expect at least, 8 points if anything, and around 35 to 37% three-point shooting could be the goal for Norman Powell this season. Hopefully he hits that. Serge Ibaka and Marcus Gasol, if they just keep their consistency from last year, will do great from that position. But other than that, I think the Raptors could take the leap to the NBA Finals if all these things fall through. And last but not least, OG Anunoby has to be a candidate for most improved player. He's got to be hitting his three-point shot. He's got to defend at a high rate, and he's got to rebound. Also, about 6 rebounds or 7 rebounds is what we need from OG Anunoby at the small forward position, because after him, there's not much depth on this roster. Stanley Johnson, I know, is there, but you know what? Stanley Johnson is like a toss up in the air. You don't know what you're going to get from him. OG Anunoby's got to be a candidate for most improved player. He's got to be that guy. He's got to take that leap there for the Raptors to be a finals NBA contender. So if those things all go through, we have a very high chance. And not to mention, Nick Nurse has got to bring that magic that he brought in last year. Those great plays, substitutions, like trick defenses, something to keep the other teams thinking and on their heels for the Raptors execute. Because Nick Nurse's offensive scheme has been fantastic through the years, even during Dwayne Casey's coaching days. But he's got to keep it going. And Nick Nurse is an excellent coach, as you've seen in the playoffs last year. Hopefully he keeps it going and gets his roster to really gel. And the Raptors player development, maybe they can get Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, Stanley Johnson to be solid contributors off the bench as well. So we'll see what the Raptors do moving forward. But it's going to be interesting to see because the East is wide open, man. Every team made some either a big loss or just traded a guy here and there. No teams looked like the same at the top. The Philadelphia 76ers lost Jimmy Butler and JJ Redick. They gained Al Horford, and Boston loses Al Horford and Kyrie Irving. Kyrie goes to Brooklyn instead, and then Boston gains Kemba Walker instead, and we'll see what they do there. Then, the Miami Heat get Jimmy Butler, so that could be an interesting mix-up right there. And then Indiana steals Milwaukee's Malcolm Brogdon, so now you have Malcolm Brogdon along with Victor Oladipo when he comes back, so that's an interesting team right there. So I had the first 76ers, second the Bucks, third either the Raptors or the Pacers. So Pacers are the fourth or third. And then from there on, you got maybe Miami Heat. No Charlotte Hornets anymore. Maybe Orlando Magic in there. You might want to throw the Hawks or the Nets in there. And I see the Pistons are probably locked in there as well. And honestly, there's your playoff matchup right there. I don't see anybody else cracking the rosters. The Bulls are still too young. The Knicks, you know how the Knicks are. And everybody else in the East just doesn't stand a chance. So this is what the East is going to look like. Hopefully the Raptors get like home court in the first round. Hopefully a third seed so they can avoid facing, in my opinion, Philadelphia until the Eastern Conference Finals. Another thing I expect from the Raptors next season is Pascal Siakam. He's got to take that leap. I have expectations that Kyle Lowry will help Pascal Siakam just reach his potential. And Pascal Siakam, in my opinion, could be an All-NBA and an All-Star next season. So I still have high expectations for Pascal Siakam there. And I still expect Kyle Lowry to be an All-Star. So the Raptors should have 2 All-Stars next season. And that's the type of play that you need from your 2 main guys to be competitive and attract free agents, of course, but also defend your championship and not to be like a pushover since Kawhi Leonard is gone. You're still a championship caliber team, and you got to prove it to the haters out there saying that the Raptors championship was a fluke. But we all know it wasn't a fluke. We battled, we toiled hard into the playoffs, and we beat the defending champs to win the 2 crowns. So can't hate on us. So that's what I expect from the Raptors this year. Otherwise, it's going to be a great season. I'm pumped for the Raptors to defend the crown, and we'll see how the Raptors do on ring night. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Raptors Wrap Up. Until next time, guys. Peace.